So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and my thinking is that when somebody has done something good for me, then I want to kind of get into it more, and then see if I can share it. So what we have over here is the final chapter here, part 12 of the first. I think this is the second lesson in this book. I haven't really memorized the book, so I don't know all the different parts to it. I know it's going to get more exciting as we go on. So this part here is called part number 12, the 6,000 years. So we have 6,000 years to work, corresponding, I guess, to many ways to the 6 spheros, Zeranpin. So let's see what this says. He says like this: in the truth, the neshama breaks the negative elements and allows the raising up of the original light before the sin. This is the purpose of man's service, to cleave to God and to separate himself from his dirty clothing. Rabbi Mimran writes, never give in to any negativity that surrounds you. Know that there is great hope for humanity. The Borei Olam has allowed it 6,000 years to this world in which we live. As we are reaching the end of that time period, as Chazal have taught us, there will be a clear reversal of rules between the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov. The powers of good in the world will increase, while the powers of evil will decrease. This will be due to the billions and trillions of holy sparks of light that the people of Klal Yisrael have salvaged over the millennia through this service to Hashem. Because as we travel in our exile through the darkness, and we maintain our faith, and we keep saying the Hebrew words, and we keep trying to reach Hashem, this is pulling out a tremendous amount of light, going back to its source. Now he says this is a deep Kabbalistic concept, whose details are beyond the scope of this work. What is clear, though, is that humanity will be saved from itself through Klal Yisrael's service of Hashem. Now, I was using a phrase as I was reviewing this. It was coming to my mind that humanity has what is called a mass psychosis. It's not just one mass psychosis, although Rabbi Nachman says the psychosis is the psychosis of the Yetzer Hara and the taiva for niyuf. That's really particularly what men want. They want sexual liberty to do what they want. That is psychotic, because in fact it leads to nothing but destruction. So now we see here in a worst case scenario, the Navi Yeshayahu tells us, Ani Hashem bi'ita achachishanu. I am God who will bring forth the redemption. And now Rabbi Mimran writes in his thought, what redemption are we talking about? Normally people mean the redemption where the Goyim will not have a hold of us anymore, and we'll go back to our land, and we'll live like free Jews. But I keep missing it in there. So Rabbi Mimran, though, on the other hand, he writes something else. He says the redemption that we will get will be from the Yetzer Hara, our egos. And so he's going to say, and I think he's going to get into the connection between one ego and all the rest of the egos. That's what I meant as the concept of a group psychosis. So he says, at the end of days or earlier due to your service. So in other words, the freedom from the psychosis of our minds, our group psychosis of our minds, and the illusions, the fantasies, and the thoughts that constantly go through our heads based on our emotional ego, as Rabbi Mimran has said. But this will come to an early close due to your service. He says this verse is telling us that if we do not manage to allow our precious souls to surface, that in other words, it is our obligation, really in the highest level that we possibly can, to allow to come to surface and claim their rightful place in our lives. That is the neshama that is within us. When we do this, we would be regaining control of the ego. But we're talking about a case when we don't do this, but we just let our emotional egos go. He says, then Hashem, through his appointed one, the Mashiach, will redeem us at the latest appointed time. Now, he originally had the word latest. I said earliest, but I see the way that it's written. He means to say that if we're not going to get to the point where we can see beyond our emotional egos, and it's very simple to do that just by looking at what you're thinking, objectively just watching it. If we don't do that, then the Mashiach will come at the latest possible time. Okay, therefore I said, that's it. I guess I can't really read the part at the bottom. It says, okay, humanity will be saved from itself through Cloud Yisrael's service of Hashem. There we go, learning how to use my focus a little bit better. This is Baruch Fleischman at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel.